Good morning, Angelo Antonio Ellerbee. Welcome to WAOK.
Listen, my love, it is no more than a pleasure to be a part of you. And I thank you so very much for entertaining me this morning. And I say hello to all of your listeners and your followers on social media. Thank you, Angela. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you. So, you are a fashion designer, a manager, an executive producer, a filmmaker, an award winning author, a media guru, a history maker, and a whole institution.
You
Oh,
know, that's
my
what
goodness.
you know, that's what they say. That's what they say. And I'm always willing to take those compliments. But you know what? What they don't say is that I'm a child of God. That's what they
Okay.
don't say.
Okay.
And that's the serious side of me. All the things that I've been able to accomplish in my 55 years of being in the music industry and the entertainment industry, no one mentions the importance of where I come from, who delivers me, who speaks for me, who thinks for me. And it's no more than the magic and the faith that I believe in the man above.
All right. I like that. So tell us about how Miss Eva's influence on your life helped you achieve all that you have in your life, all of these wonderful titles that you have. How has Miss Eva's influence helped you with that?
My mother, for me, was everything that God planted inside of her. And she delivered it not just to me, but she delivered it to her six children. My mother was romantically in love with her last born, which is I. And my mom used to come in my room each and every single morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. And she would wake me up and she would say before she goes to work, did I tell you that I loved you? And I would say, Mom, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. No, girl, you didn't tell me that, but I love you too. And those were the kind of forces and the kind of energy that she embedded into me to let me know she accepted me, she loved me, and she wanted me just to go and be the sprout as she planted the seed and watered me every single day with her love and her devotion for me. My mother, they say I'm the institution. My mother was the institution. She taught me, she taught me everything that I teach to everyone else each and every single day. As after her passing, I remember at her funeral site, I stood over her and I said, Mama, if you always said that I was great, but for you, I'm going to be the greatest. And I try to hold on to that. I try to live with that because she poured so much into me. And I tell these young kids today, love your mother and father, honor them. And your days will be as long as you want them to be, but you got to honor them, respect them, because that's the energy, that's the engine that moves your life. And so, yeah, my mom was instrumental in the betterment of my life, and I love her to this day.
Oh, I bet you do. So you study fashion at the New York Fashion Institute of Technology. And I was wondering, how did that lead you to working with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry and landing some of your work in some of the biggest publications in fashion?
Well, I have to give that back again, back to my mother and my older sister Rose, who my sister Rose was a ebony fashion fair model. And I was always influenced with fashion. Always thought that fashion was going to be the door opener for me. As I saw the door opening for my sister, I followed in pursuit of it. I love clothes. I remember it being at like 17 years old, and there was a store called Macy's. Well, they call it Macy's now, but back then they called it Bamberger's. And they gave me a credit card. When they gave me this credit card, I each and every single day would get on the bus, go downtown Newark, and I would buy clothes every single day. And I never thought that I would have any problems in the future with this credit card. I mean, every day I went down there. After I got out of school, I went down there and I got something new every single day. Yeah, I learned the hard way what it was going to do to my credit as I got older. But clothes has always been, excuse me, very important to me. I mean, I think when you dress well, you feel well, you look well, you be well.
Mhm.
And so clothes was always very important to me. And I just remember when I was 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, I got into women's apparel. You know, my
Mhm.
clothes sold in major department stores like Henry Bendel's and Lords and Taylor's. And there was a store that initially took me on out of Jersey called
Mhm.
Jams and Company. And they took all of my evening wear and then we started to get press on it.
Mhm.
And I was, you know, my mother always said to me that all of her children had to be contributors. It
Okay.
was it was seven of us.
Okay.
So I never understood why my mother would take the phones to work with her. She would take the phones out of every room in the house and take it to work with her. I never understood why she did that.
Why did
And
she
then
do
one
that?
but she did it because she said it was seven of us. Could you
Uh-huh.
imagine if seven of us got on the telephone every single day? We wouldn't have a phone. But every day she would come home from work, she would plug the phones in. And
Uh-huh.
so my thing was to exercise my right to entrepreneurship and designing clothes so that I could give and contribute to the family. She
Mhm.
believed in a family's worth, and she believed very much in a collective thought and a collective identity to all of our children. We all had to go and work and
Mhm.
we had to contribute. I honor my brother, who I love so very much, and he passed just this year. My brother worked as a janitor at the YMCA in Newark, New Jersey, and he would work to give my mother money to take care of me and my sisters.
Oh.
And my brother was, I didn't understand my brother back then, but as we got older and he saw some of my accomplishments, he
Mhm.
used to call me every morning, Angela, and he would say, you know, I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. And if he would see me on television, I never, he was so proud of me. And I learned how proud he was of me in his last days.
Oh.
He would call me up and say, I love you, brother. Brother, I love you. I love you so much. So one day I went up to the hospital
Mhm.
and I have this ring that my mother and my sister gave me, right?
Mhm.
And he said to me, he said, I like that ring. And I said, you know, Mom gave me this ring. Yvonne gave me this ring. He said, can I wear it? I said, absolutely, you can.
Mhm.
I took it off my hand and I gave it to him.
Mhm.
When he passed away, his wife called me and said, your brother wanted to make sure you got your ring back.
Oh.
And she sent it over to me. My brother and my mother and my older sister Rose were just the anchors of my life. They were the
Mhm.
anchors of my life. They loved me. They loved me more than I loved me. They
Oh.
taught me what love was about. They told me how to fall in love and be romantically in love with who I am.
Uh-huh.
They accepted me. They loved me. They molded me. They strengthened me. They enabled me to do all the wonderful things that
Oh.
I've accomplished in my family. And I tell these young kids today, your family is everything to you.
Mhm.
Cherish them, love them, understand them. They don't dislike you. They just want the best for you. And thus, this is where I'm at today, loving people, sharing love, and giving people the kind of motivation that they need to have in order to accomplish.
That's wonderful. So, with your fashion background, are you one of these people that you can just look at somebody and you can just dress them from head to toe in your mind's eye?
Absolutely. You know, it's so funny. I'm working on a storyboard for a client. And so one of my creative assistants, Ryan Sinclair, and I are on a Zoom.
Hmm.
And I gave him a picture of what the lady looks like and her husband. And I said, he says, well, how are you going to come up with what they look like? What you want them to look like?
Hmm.
He said, go to Yves Saint Laurent. Let's look up Yves Saint Laurent's line. Let's look at this. Let's look at the picture of the individual and let me just imagine what I want to see her in.
Uh-huh.
And we pulled it all together. It's the same. You know, when you have a vision, you have a vision.
Yeah.
When you're really about fashion and you understand fashion, and sometimes, excuse me, you have to really educate your clients.
Hmm.
And a lot of times they don't understand what you're doing, but when they see themselves in it and they see the makeup, they see the hair, they see all of the, and then they go, Oh, I got it now, Angela. So
Ah.
yeah, yeah, I can envision what a look and a style should be like.
Ah, okay. I guess
Yeah.
it's like kind of for me. I'm a writer,
Yes.
by profession, so or by nature. I think I just was born like this. I just have always been writing since I was a kid, and I can write a story in my head and remember
Yes.
it and put it on paper, but I can,
Exactly.
like I told Lisa, I was like, well, it's okay. I can still write the story. I got it in my head. And she
Mm-mm,
was like,
no.
no, you can do it over. You can do it over. I said, I promise you, I can write the story. She was like, no, let me talk to him for you. So it worked out perfectly. It worked
I
out
you
perfectly.
And you know what? You could be a model as well, as beautiful as you are. And
Oh,
it takes, you know what? There is a look and there's a stylization of an individual, but there's also the innocence of a soul that can be brought out. You're a very, very wonderful, beautiful lady,
oh,
and you should
thank
share your
you.
beauty with so many. You should share your
Oh,
beauty.
thank you. You have made my day. Thank you so much. Those are such kind words. Lisa told me that you and I have something quite remarkable in common with each other.
Tell me what it is, namesake.
Yes, she told me that you are in the Library of Congress.
I am, you know what I'm telling you. Angela, the things that God has blessed me with has been unbelievable.
Oh,
The history makers, this wonderful lady by the name of Julian M. Richardson, has this organization called the History Makers.
uh-huh.
And as I am a publicist, Miss Richardson has come my way to interview all of my clients, the Dion Warwicks, the Mabel Moores, and blah, 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 blah. And so she called me one day. She said, Angelo, I'm going to be in the New Jersey area and we would like to interview you. And I go, me? She said, yeah, I want to put you in the Library of Congress. I
You're
said,
like,
what
what?
are you talking about? So she came and she did. I remember me and Miss Warwick was on the phone and I said, Miss Warwick, she said, so you're getting everything that you give to me, right? That lady must have interviewed me for 4.5 hours nonstop. And
Wow.
I was like, and just recently she sent me the film and the box and the whole other bit. So yes, to answer your question, I am.
That is
I was
awesome.
also voted by, I also went to the White House and I met with President Joe Biden as he gave me
Oh,
the humanitarian award this year. I was
awesome.
also receiving my honorary doctor's degree from Rutgers University.
Okay, doctor.
It goes on and on and
I
on, and
see.
so nobody can tell me nothing about God.
Ah, I see. That is awesome. Well, I too went to the White House last year, and my radio career was archived in the Library of Congress as one of the
Wonderful,
distinguished 30 of Black
wonderful.
women in radio.
God bless. Bravo, bravo,
Yes.
bravo, bravo to you. You know what? When you see, sometimes you just believe. I used to sit back and believe. Angela, are you unsung? Do people know you? And I mean, 2 years ago, I was like, I don't think so. Anyway, God will open up a door and a passage to you, which allows you to have an appreciation and a respect for what you have done. And today is a whole different story. It's a different story. I mean, God is amazing. And I tell people, I said, if you don't know him, what you should do is wake up in the morning and introduce yourself to God. And you need to join the journey with him.
Yes.
Ask him if you can join the journey. And then wake up in the
Yes.
morning and say, you know what? Because I wake up every morning and I said, thank you, Jesus. Because
Uh-huh.
you know what, Angela, we don't have to be. We don't
Exactly.
have
We
to
don't.
be, Angela.
A
We don't have
lot
to
of people
be.
are not here. Are
Angela,
not
and
here.
if they are, they're sitting up in the hospital. They're
Know
sitting up,
it.
you know what? So I'm saying, and I'm not going on no religious hunt here. I'm just telling you what works for me.
Yes.
He works for me. Okay, so I wrote this book. Before
Hmm.
I let you go,
Okay.
the book is really, it ain't about me. I'll give you a template of my life growing up in the city of Newark with a single mother and blah, 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 blah. And I do spotlight the Mary J. Blige's, the Alicia Keys, the Dionne Warwicks in that book, and the Michael Jackson. That's only for people to buy that book.
Uh-huh.
The key thing is that I'm speaking to the HIV positive victims,
Mm-hmm.
the homeless and the shut out victims,
Mm-hmm.
the incarcerated victims. I go
Yes.
through that whole, that's what the book is about. God gives us all chances.
Yes.
We will shut the door on these people because we believe they're not citizens and they've done some wrong. But
Mm.
don't we all get up in the on Sunday morning going to the church? Why we go to church? Because we all sinners trying to
Mm-hmm.
get right by the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So we
Yes.
got to give
Yes.
everybody a chance to
Yes.
get their life in order. Get
Yes.
your life in order. Don't shut the door on somebody. I have this guy that drives me and he's Hispanic.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was coming out of the bank and I had got a bunch of singles, but I don't know what the reason was that I got them. So we're riding down Ninth Avenue and 42nd Street. And I saw these three brothers. One brother was in a box, one brother was sitting on the can, and one brother was digging in the garbage cans.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked my driver to pull over.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulled over and I said to the guys, hey man, yo, come here for a minute. He came and I gave him $10. I gave the other
Mm-hmm.
one $10. I gave the other one $10. And
Mm-hmm.
my driver, who doesn't speak clear English,
Mm-hmm.
said to me, why are you doing that? They're only going to go by. I said, that ain't my business. And neither
Mm-hmm.
is yours.
Mm-hmm.
It's the business of the Lord. Because that could be me. I could be
Yes.
sitting out there in that garbage can, digging in the
Yeah.
garbage can. Could have been my father, could have been my brother. What we got to stop doing is judging people.
Yes. Yes.
We got to give everybody a chance to correct life. Don't half of those people that are sitting there eating out of garbage, they're lawyers, they're doctors,
Mm-hmm.
but they just had some kind of
Something
whatever in their
happened.
life.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so if you can bring them back with humanity, if you can bring them back with love, if you can bring, where was $10, $30 I gave out?
Mm-hmm.
I give that out, child. I give that out for a shoe shine.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
understand what I'm
nothing.
saying?
I
So
hear you.
the book is really about telling people that God loves you and that God will give you a chance. If you give yourself a chance, the Lord will give you a chance. And Angela, I'm nobody's born again Christian. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just telling you what
Yeah.
he has done for me. Listen, people say to me, oh, Angela, you're so successful. I said, you know what? I don't know what success is. I have had two bankruptcies.
Mm-hmm.
Bankruptcies.
Mm-hmm.
I remember calling my mother once. And I said, hey, Mom, what you doing? Da, da, da. She said, I'm in the kitchen cooking. I said, okay. I said, I want to talk to you about something. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I have to file bankruptcy. She said, what? And I said, I lost my
Mm-hmm.
money because I invested $2.5 million in a film that I was working on.
Okay.
And so she said, well, I'm in here cooking my greens.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you got to tell me real quick because my greens ain't gonna burn up. That's Sunday's dinner, right? So I told her about it. She said, so where did you start this business at? Didn't you start this business in the basement of this house? I said, yes. She said, pack that stuff up in that office, put it in a box, and go find you another place. And I don't want to hear this mess no more. You know better than that. I didn't raise no failures. I
Mm-hmm.
raised successful people. And she said, click up. And she hung up.
Uh-oh.
But that was the biggest maturity pill I ever had. Because this was my mother, who I knew
Yeah.
loved me. I know she loved me, but she was not going to fall in the prey of me. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I went and I found a place on Fifth Avenue. And I
Mm-hmm.
called her up. She said, oh, you got it together now? Okay. So what I'm saying to you,
Mm-hmm.
there is never failures. It's only experience.
Exactly.
There
Because
is
you
no
learn
failures
from
in your life.
those.
You learn from them all and you
Yes.
apply it and you share that with other people. I'm sharing all of my trials, tribulations, everything with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's no secrets. Here's the antidotes. Here's the travel that I went through. Please read it. Understand what I went through. I don't want you to go through what I went through.
Right.
And you got to remember racism is still apparent. It's
Alive
still
and kicking.
real. And
Alive and kicking.
I'm telling people that we have to, they used to give you this thing about it takes It takes a village to raise a child. And I say, what does it take to raise a culture?
Mhm.
It takes a lot to raise a culture. It takes a collectiveness. It takes community. It takes people coming together and understanding the direction of life. I just remember many years ago, there was a guy by the name of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Mhm.
People wanted to talk about this racism, and he was, you know what he was trying to tell you? He was trying to tell us as a collective, you got to have your own.
Yeah.
You got to have your own cleaners. You got to have your own this. You got to have your own that. And
Yes.
then that's all he was trying to tell us, just like the Jews, just
Yes.
like the Italians, just like the Asians, just like the Spanish. We don't have our own because we're separated.
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand what I'm saying? And so I just want people to understand the importance of
Yes.
being a collective and raising a culture. We
Yes.
have been denied we have been denied about and with regard to our culture.
Yes.
We've been raped and robbed since God knows 200 years ago.
Yes, we have.
We talk about gospel music, we talk about blues, we talk about jazz, we don't get none of that. They
Hmm.
got it all.
Yep.
Their kids
Stole
can
it.
go to Ivy, yeah, their kids can go to
Stole it.
Ivy League. Yeah,
And
they can
still
go to
doing
Ivy.
it.
Oh, and if you think as a parent back then, what the hell do you think is going to happen in
Mm.
the year 2025?
Oh, wake up. Wake up, somebody. Wake
Somebody need to
up.
wake up, or better yet, go to sleep and don't wake up.
Yeah. Listen, I want to tell you that I want an autographed copy of your book for sure.
Oh, I
I
absolutely you make
definitely
sure.
want a
Listen,
copy.
make sure the Lisa gets your address.
Okay.
I will autograph this book and send right back to you, darling. You
Awesome.
are a
Awesome.
sweetheart. You're a pleasure. And I just hope that people in your community enjoy you the way that I enjoy you.
Oh,
I
thank you.
appreciate you. I really do appreciate you, darling. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
very
I
much.
appreciate you telling me that. So before you go, I want to ask you about your work that you've done with the LGBTQ community. What is the most significant contribution that you've made to that community? What would you say?
I would think within my communities in New Jersey and abroad and nationally that I'm here to stimulate and educate and motivate people to the awareness of the not just the community, but the illness that has killed our community. I
Hmm.
am into striving hard to. There's an organization because on my book, before I let you go, I'm not making any money from this book. I'm donating all the money to the organization called Wow, and it's in Newark, New Jersey.
Okay.
Every single dime that is brought on this book, I give it to them
Okay.
because I know what it's like growing up and having people to misunderstand your lifestyle.
Hmm.
And particularly when you talk about mothers and fathers who don't understand and they throw their children out of the house. And the only thing that these kids have to fend from is selling their bodies. I'm saying, oh, no, 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 no. So
Hmm.
we established the Angelo Ellerbee Scholarship Fund within the WOW organization that would give these young people the opportunities to have housing for 5 months. 5 months, they would be able to, we would teach them and gear them to a career goal. They would get 3 to 4 meals a day. You got 5 months to get it together. And
Wow.
we pay for all of that.
That is awesome.
That's
That
all
is
what this book is
so
about.
generous. That is really nice.
But you know
That's
what? It's
wonderful.
about, Angela, it's about give back. Listen, we ain't taking nothing with us. When we laying down there in that box,
Yeah.
ain't nothing you
There'll
taking
be
with you.
nothing there with you.
Ain't nothing in there with you. So I just learned the importance based on from my mother's givings. You got to give it back.
Yes. Yes.
There's so many young people out here today that is destroying their lives because they don't understand their lives.
Hmm.
And sometimes you have to take the time to open up the window and let them breathe fresh air to understand that there are people that really do care for them and
Yes.
care about them and want them to the next level of their life. It's
Yes.
so important for me to get my young people to understand you got to be in love with you.
Hmm.
I want you to love yourself. Because if you love yourself, then you can truly love somebody else.
Yes.
And then you can share love. But
Right.
if you ain't loving yourself and you are in a cloud of not being accepted, being rejected, no, I'm about telling people the important. I love me some Angelo Ellerbee. I fell in love
I
with
know
me.
you
I
do.
fell, and it sounds, it's not ego. It's just
Yeah.
real. It's real for me because I think when I've learned the importance of loving me, wow, I love my mother a little bit more. I love my sisters a little more. I understand negativity better more now than I ever have
Hmm.
because I've learned to love those people who don't understand me.
Yes. 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 And you know, it makes sense because if you don't love you, how can you love somebody else?
That's
You
exactly.
can't love anybody else if you don't love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, then you allow people to just treat you any old kind of way
Yes.
because
That
you
ain't
don't love
happening here.
yourself.
That ain't
No.
happening. Angela, let me tell
Uh-uh.
you. I worked all my life for people to call me Mr. Ellerbee. And
Mm-hmm.
I live in I live in this building. And I live in this building. There's a doorman building in the hood of it. So
Mm-hmm.
this guy says, he says, Angela.
So I don't know who you're talking to.
I said, are you speaking to me? Oh, no, 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 no. You must address me by my last name. It's Mr. Ellerbee.
Okay.
I worked for that.
Okay.
And it's only two black people in this building. So why are you so comfortable in thinking you can call me by my first name?
Yeah.
Because you that man over there, you just called him Mr. Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Weinstein. You gonna
Mm-hmm.
call me Mr. Ellerbee
All right.
until I tell you anything different.
Okay. Hello.
It's called respect.
Yes, it is. And you have to demand it. You
You have
have
to
to demand
demand it because
it.
if you don't open up my mother used to tell me a closed mouth is an unfed mouth.
That's true. That
If you
is
don't open
true.
your mouth and say what you want, I guess you're gonna go hungry.
You will. So tell our audience where they can pick up your book. We're almost
Oh,
out of
go to
time.
Amazon, everybody. Go to Amazon for Christmas. Go to Amazon for New Year's. Um, my book is called Before I Let You Go. And the book is really, I think it's so compelling and it's such a tool of education and advice and counsel. And I think it's really good for everybody. It's not a demographic. I think it's good for everybody. My social media handles is double exposure. That's dxxnyc.com. That's from that's from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn to X. I really, really, really want to thank all the people that have been so supportive to this book. Yes, I would love, yeah, I'm an Amazon bestseller, but I'm fighting to be a New York Times bestseller. And
Awesome.
and talking to you and knowing that your followers will follow you, I think we will get there.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank
I'm
you
a
so
believer.
much for joining me again this morning, Angelo. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to talk to you this morning, and I'll be looking for my book in the mail.
I tell you what, you call Miss Lisa up and tell Miss Lisa, Angelo said, and give me your address, and I will get this book to you ASAP.
Sounds like a
Angela,
plan.
please, please keep doing what you're doing. Your smile is everything. Your warmth and your joy that you present to me and have presented to your audiences. Keep doing what you're doing. Your
Thank
smile is
you.
infectious, and I
Thank you.
really appreciate your time. I thank you very, very much.
Thank you. I thank you too. Thank you so much for joining us on WALK this morning.
Thank you.